Hello, Wobbly Phil here. This week's video is a bit of a gear change, so I hope you'll bear with me. If you feel like skipping it, no worries. 52 years ago, when I was but a sprightly young thing in shorts, attending a school in Kent in the south of England, I met Peter. Peter was a bit older than me and unusual in that he wasn't called Phil, like all my other friends. He was in the process of graduating from an obsession with lawnmowers to an obsession with motorcycles, a ride that would last the rest of his life. Fortunately, he took me along with him. By the age of 16, we'd both leapt on mopeds. The law at the time here in the UK allowed you to ride anything up to 50cc if it had pedals and L plates. The manufacturers were quick to exploit this teenage need for speed, and most of our schoolmates had fizzies, pucks, or pukes as we like to call them, all those Suzuki things I can never remember the name of. At 17 you could move up to anything under 250cc, again on L plates, and again the manufacturers were on it with a bunch of sexy looking machines, all with a capacity of 249cc or thereabouts. Peter typically took a much more cost-effective approach. He'd spotted old Lambretta scooters for sale at bargain prices. The mods era had come and gone a decade before, and now these things were as cheap as chips. They had 200cc engines too, in many cases. So, much to the hilarity of our schoolmates, in sixth form we used to arrive on GP200s that we'd picked up for less than 100 quid, and which had been souped up with polished ports, 30mm Del Auto carbs, and all the baffles in the exhausts bashed out with a rod and hammer up the tailpipe. No sniggering at the back. I'd like to be able to say that we were pioneering the second mods wave of the late 70s, but truth be told, we'd never heard of the Jam. Once you'd passed the ludicrously easy bike test, the sky was the limit. Peter immediately went out and bought a Triumph 750. This Triumph Tiger 750, in fact, the single carb version of the Bonneville. He'd found it by assiduously attending the Right Foot Shift Club, a local congregation of hairy greasers devoted to holding back the tide of foreign bikes with their gear shifts on the wrong side. A proper bunch of canoots by all accounts. Like most bikes that left Meriden in the mid-70s, this Tiger had a few issues, and I'm not just talking about its official designation, TR7, being hilariously confusable with the wedgie sports car being made by British Leyland at the same time. But Peter diligently worked through all the faults.
You're not going out there on that though, are you? You are.
And got the bike to a sorted level of decency, even though he eventually gave up on reattaching the indicators, which kept dropping off from metal fatigue. It is, after all, a Triumph Twin we're talking about here. He even paid for a lovely black paint job. For the last 40 years or so, it was his pride and joy. Under blankets, in a nice cosy garage, always maintained and MOT'd, only taken out on high days and holidays. Not by any means a minter, but a nice, honest, authentic, unrestored machine. Sadly, Peter's luck ran out a while ago, which was true to form as he always referred to himself as Lucky Pete, in an ironic way, meaning he felt he was one of the unluckiest blokes in the world, which nobody could really argue with. For the last few years, the Triumph became less and less of a priority for Peter, but I'd still ride it to the MOT testing station for him every year. When the time came to head off to that great bike meet in the sky, he bequeathed it to a friend who has now, with a heavy heart, put it on eBay because of their own health issues. So no, this isn't a sponsored video, I've not been paid to do this, but I wanted to put something on the channel to help send Pete's Tiger to a loving home. A link to the eBay listing is in the description. The people who are selling it are lovely, genuine Kentish folk who I've known for decades, and I'm sure they'll offer you a brew and a biscuit when you turn up with your trailer. Just tell them Wobbly Phil sent you.